morning. Bonasera, Buongiorno. It's morning. I'm so unused to morning streams. How's it going, everyone? I'm gonna try and remember my roots today, and actually do some programming. It's been a while since I've needed to actually do anything of the sort on stream, but I was finally able to twist the arm of Denchi, the guy who manages and builds the VTube Studio software that I use to render myself, and get him to add a bunch of nifty new features to the software that you can control programmatically. Also, let me just check. Is my chat box connected? Okay, it is. Cool. Ooh, exciting indeed. I keep having this problem where my Stream Elements chat box disconnects, and it's really embarrassing because the only way to fix it is to seemingly restart OBS or restart the stream. So I'm glad that's not the case here. But yeah, to kind of give a quick overview of... I also want to get loud in my ear. A quick overview of the kind of thing I'm talking about. So he added a bunch of post-processing effects that you can do within VTube Studio. Let me see if I remember where to set those up from here. I think they're under... Which one of these? I actually don't remember because I've only messed with these like once or twice. Oops. Expressions. Hotkeys. Hold on, I should have prepared this. Plugins. Lip sync. There's a whole cool menu for it. Why can I not find it? Quality and effects. Visual effects, here we go. So, like, I can do... this? Hold on, I promise there's a cool... There's a cool punchline here, I promise. Let's see, where is it? Analog glitch on. Okay. And then... Okay. Done. There we go. There we go, that's what I was trying to show off. So you can do things like this. I don't know why you'd want to have something quite so aggressive, but... you can lower it back down, so I can only be, you know, mildly out of phase, like such. But post-processing effects like this and many more exist. Yeah, I feel like this all the time, right? The reason I wanted Denchi to add support for controlling this programmatically is because the specific VTube Studio plugin that I build is the one that links your heart rate to control model stuff, and after having watched Bochi the Rock, I thought it would be really, really nifty if I can make VTubers appear more or less as I am right now, once their heart rate spikes. I feel like this is exactly how you feel when you're stressed out, right? Maybe like a little less drift, a little less scanline jitter, maybe some vertical... that's too much vertical jump. Horizontal shake, something like that. Higher scanline jitter. Something like this, right? That's how we all feel. But being able to configure this... Thank you. Being able to configure this programmatically seems like a cool thing to do. So, that's basically what I have in mind. And so he finally added support for all of these cool features. You can control every aspect of every effect that he's added via the API. And so now I have to make good on my end of the promise, where I add the ability to control this through my C# library, which is a thing a lot of people use to interface with the API. You could be like a Dwarf Fortress streamer, for example, if you really wanted to. You could like enter the Matrix. All this and much more. It's cool. I don't know where he found the time to come up with all of these goofy effects, but they're cool. I could just be like partially... neat. I haven't messed with these too much since the beta rolled out because I don't have too much of a specific use for them myself, but other people will, and I want to get them integrated into my heart rate plugin. So let's read about this, shall we? Getting a list of post-processing effects and state. Currently only on the beta branch. we will use the term visual effects of VFX and post-processing effects interchangeably in the document. So we've added post-processing effects, which we just looked at, available on Windows and Mac OS. There's a whole page on that. Alright, this request will returns the general state of the post-processing effects system, a list of all existing user-created post-processing presets, and a list of all available post-processing effects with their current value and current post-processing state. Cool. We have some parameters. You set the fill post-processing presets array to false. The post-processing presets array in the response payload will be empty. Requesting the list of post-processing presets requires reading the preset files from the disk, which can be slow, so you don't want to always do this every request. That makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. You could create lag due to disk I/O. That's good to note. If you set the thing to false, the post-processing effects array... if you fill post-processing effects array to false, then the other array will be empty if you don't need all of the effects every single time. I guess you could have both of them be false and get, like, nothing. And if you are only interested in a specific post-processing effects, you can fill an effect ID filter array. Cool. Makes sense. So what does the request look like? And then he says that these IDs are accepted in many different formats, so you can create an enum for them, which I made him do also. I had a really long-spirited discussion with Denshi about why we shouldn't use, like, plain old strings for identifying these things, because I think it's really, really fragile, and it also doesn't give developers a clear sense of, like, what is or isn't an accepted value. And as we kind of just saw, there's a whole bunch of things. There's, like, 5 different parameters you can adjust for the analog distortion, and that's just one effect. So, like, the example he gives here is, like, chromatic aberration. That's one of many things. Okay, so our sample request looks like this. This is what our data looks like. And with that, we can begin our arduous process. So let's go over to VS Code. And we're going to make yet another new data model type. I gotta remember where my own things are. VTS data? I think that's right. And then I have this split up by events and requests, I believe. We can minimize this. General API we care about. Event API we don't. So we have another class for the general API. This would be, like what, VTS... We're going to do system.serializable, like class, VTS. Something like that, I think, and it's going to approximately look like this. It's been actually so long ooh, what the hell happened there? It's been so long since I've updated this library that I actually kind of forget what my own naming scheme is for things. Request data, response data, request data. Like that, okay. And this extends. Cool, okay. How do I do any of this? It's been so long. Now that didn't give me a compiler error, so I'm worried that my project didn't load properly or something like that. Another thing I probably should have checked before starting stream, but what can you do? So the name of this is the post-processing request. Like such. Data. And then our data is going to look like... I do have a turtle cam, that's true. It's an early enough stream where she's awake. Or at least out. I took her out in the sun earlier today, and then it started not being sunny and in fact raining, so short-lived goals there. But it is early enough that she can just hang out. Like that. Yeah, my compiler is not complaining, which is very bad news. Hold on, do I have like a... What's this? Project is not supported in C-Sharp dev kit. It needs to be converted to... What are they talking about? I do this all the time. That's cool. I love that my tools break basically every time I need to use them. I truly love using Microsoft's Visual Studio. Does this still compiles in Unity though? Unity like understands how to compile, right? Okay. Yeah, like you can't do that, I don't think. Class data. Then we have public string. So this is going to be something different later, I think. Effect, filter, like such. And I think, if I'm lucky, Denshi provided me a list of enums that I can pull in, which I think is this thing. Yes. We're going to copy this wholesale into VTube Studio. Or into Visual Studio, rather, from VTube Studio, and that's all of our effects. So now I think I can do, as one would intend, effect. Oh, and I put those in a namespace, right? I do. There we go. Cool. So now that should compile. Also, you'll see me type Boolean and stuff because I've been doing Java non-stop this past week for unrelated reasons. So I've been in and out of every language. Not fun. That will compile. That strikes me as something that should compile. And then we have to make the corresponding update in our IVTS plugin class. Do I not separate these by region? Ugh. Okay, these go at the end then for now. Void. What do I normally call these? I'm so out of it. Like, I haven't updated this thing forever. Subscribe. I think these are sorted alphabetically right now, which is not terribly useful. This would be get boost. Like that, get post-processing effect state list. And then we have actions. I've discovered stream avatars. Oh yeah, those are cool. Those are fun because you get to do a lot of like custom art also. I've seen a lot of people use like Pokemon Mystery Dungeon sprites and things like that for them for related Pokemon things. I agree, I think they're cool. Hello, hi. I am currently fighting for my life out here as my compiler has decided to forsake me. So I'm kind of just flying blind because I don't feel like trying to debug my compiler at this time. And this isn't request, this is just state data. Because the response looks like this, right? Well, actually, the response might look different. Let's see. Yeah, that sounds like a thing you would do, MC, I'll be honest. What does the response look like? Okay, the response looks totally different. Okay, cool. So this is actually a request. I need to make a class for the response as well. Let's collapse this guy. Yes, they do have a whole manual for this. Denshi is very good about leaving documentation, otherwise I would be sore out of luck. I would really be hurting to do this. I'd have to figure it out myself. So this is now the response. Cool. It is cool. He does a good job. And this looks like... oh golly, okay. Okay, this is gonna be fun. So the data structure for this is a real piece of work. So we have all of this that I need to... So we've got top-level object, which then has an array of mid-level objects that have low-level objects. Interesting. Interesting. And then a list of presets, which are just strings. That's a lot of data. That's a lot of pieces of information to include here. It'll be interesting to see if we can get this to work on our first try. So... let's take something like this. We have... yeah, it's an array of arrays of all sorts of stuff. And it shouldn't be Boolean, it's just bool in C#. I keep doing that. I don't know why he has fields for these. These seem like these are values that you could calculate by just looking at the arrays. I don't know what it saves you by having that as a discrete field. Oh, yeah. So, since you're just here now, so the post-processing stuff, you can do things like this. like this. Give me like a real high level of distortion. So that's like a kind of post-processing you can add to the way your character is rendered. And so the one plugin that I currently build, other than building the library here, which is what I'm currently updating, is one that you can use your actual heart rate as a driver for various things for your character model, right? So I wanted to be able to have people become, more and more out of phase as they get more stressed out. Exactly, right? Looks like I need my antenna needs adjusting. This is how I feel when I get stressed out, pretty much. So I want to be able to have people, like, be able to apply this to themselves more or less. There we go. It is neat. I agree. You can really go out of phase and just become ungovernable. It is very cool. But that's enough of that. Let's lower this back down to reasonable numbers and shut it off. There we go. So yeah, I wanna let people do stuff like that for horror games or what have you. I think that'd be fun. But right now I'm just updating the library that I use to build all this stuff and that I make available to other people. Okay, so now I need to make child object. Yeah. I mean, that's just one of many effects that you can do. The other one I was showing off earlier is like this cool ASCII one that I like a lot, where you can just become like symbols. You can become the Dwarf Fortress stream, which I think is neat. One of many effects that he's got in here, and the ability to control them programmatically is like now a thing you can do. What does this one do? Yeah, that's fun. What else we got? Okay, there you go. I have got this beautiful high-res model, right? Like, there we go. You can mess with it. The possibilities with effects with shaders like this are pretty limitless, I agree. Just many things, and they've got all these parameters which are configurable, which is kind of what we're looking at here. You get back lists of lists of lists. You get a list of every effect that exists, and then every property of all those effects, and you end up with stuff like this. Okay, so I'm going to do this mid-level object next, I think. So we define that. This is going to be a struct, I guess. Do I make these structs otherwise? This feels like a struct. No, I make them classes all the time. Okay, that's fine. So this would be... that, and it's got all these properties. Class called effects? Yeah, it is. Alt effects. Is this one of them? Wait. Does he have a separate enum for this? Let's find out. Yes, he does. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you, Denshi. And he was so proud. He was telling me he built a piece of software to generate this effect automatically, because this enum is 1,600 lines long, I think. When he last sent it to me, yeah, okay, cool. So he was like hemming and hawing about having to manage this by hand, and I told him there's definitely a way you can programmatically generate it, and there is. Really good though, because now we have a way to tell a developer what the entire scope of possible valid values are, which I think is critical with a situation like this. You really do need that level of like guardrails, otherwise people will just start putting in whatever they think might be appropriate but isn't actually a valid value. Okay, so now we've got this is an effects config. Yeah, yeah. So he generated that. All of those effects. I mean, a lot of this is specifying what valid values are. Like, there aren't 1,600 parameters, but there's a lot. I'm sure I could do some math to figure out how many there are, but I don't feel like it. But there's a lot. So, like, we're just looking at one of many effects. So if I look at, like, analog, here's the effect we were looking at with the analog distortion. You've got strength, you've got scanline jitter, you've got vertical jump, horizontal shake, color drift, and the ability to control it based on your microphone volume. That part's built in. So that's, what is that, 6 effects? 5 effects? Parameters for a single effect. And again, you'll be able to control any of these individually via whatever code you want now, going forward, instead of just sliders in the UI. And that's just one of many effects. So that's the kind of thing we're talking about. There's just tons and tons of things, which is why we have these arrays of arrays. I see indeed, right? And so now, as a result, these objects that we get back are very, very complex because they have to have fields that could potentially be filled in for any like these config objects here have to be very generalized because some of them are like, you know, 0 to 1 float values, some of them are Boolean, some of them are RGB color values, etc., etc. So you have to, like, have this be extremely generalized out, which is a challenge. It means there's lots of redundant fields that won't get used for every piece of data you get back, but they need to be there in order to adhere to a schema. So we have floats, which are numbers that can have decimals, ints, which are whole integers, don't have decimals. We're going to have color now, which appears to be a string. So on any given instance of one of these objects, you'll probably only have, say, like, this section filled in, or, you know, one of these, but they all need to be there so that when the system receives a piece of information back, it can figure out where to put the information. It'll only need to use one of these buckets, but they all need to be present so that you can get a nice generalized array of all of your config data. Otherwise, you'd need some way to know that this property needs to exist. Like, say you're querying for the analog effect that we were just looking at, you need to know, oh, properties A and B are floats, but C and D are colors, which are strings. and it would have no way to know that ahead of time. And C# is a strongly typed language, so it's all about knowing stuff ahead of time and having your type definitions figured out ahead of time. Whereas things like JavaScript are much more loose because they're a scripting language and not compiled and not strongly typed, so they don't care about if your data definitions are existing up front. But that kind of thing is very handy. Let's see, pool. Nope. Alpha. Looks like we want to default these to false. Oh, I'll assume that these are correct. I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm sure you know all about this kind of stuff. Value. Yeah, some of them are booleans. Default. And some of them can even just be strings. I don't know which ones would be strings, but some of them can. And that's every primitive type that exists in C#, so that's any type that it could possibly really be can be represented by one of these things. Default. Okay, we have our post-processing effect config object defined. That's cool. I think this needs to be a system. Visible, like such. So that's this whole thing. That's a config entry. Cool. So now we need to just do one of these. This should be class post. Such. Effect. That. Like such. And with all of these data structures complete now, I can go back to my actual plugin class. We have our get post-processing effect state list function. On success, we are going to get back a VTS. Oops. What's it called? I really wish my compiler were working in VS Code right now, because it would make IntelliSense. The whole reason that we use strongly typed languages work for me right now. We're going to get one of these back. I can just fly blind, it's okay. Like, for some reason it's like not linking my project together. Really annoying. And then error data on error, that's cool. And this needs to have a couple of parameters passed in. Response. What do we have for the request? It was like these couple of booleans, right? Yeah. Or a couple things. It'd actually pretty much just be any of these, I think. So we will pop those in as well. Obviously, we don't want the modifiers. This would be cool. There we go. Cool. So that defines that there. And now in our actual implementation, core VTS plugin. Now this one's organized nice and neatly. I'm pretty sure. Visualization, there's that, authentication. discovery, general API. All the way to the end of this. VTS. Quest data. Oops. I'm actually very upset that my IntelliSense here isn't working. That's so annoying. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know why it thinks that this is suddenly not a compatible project. Should have been something I checked, I guess, ahead of time. Every time I hit save, it's like jumping around. I'm so confused. That we call our socket. Online trade in Sun and Moon the other day, and I'm realizing I won't be able to do that for much longer. It's true. It's true, dude. I mentioned it on Twitter a little bit and on a couple streams, so I'm trying to collect as many friend requests as I can in my 3DS before they shut that down for good. We have, what, like 3 weeks until they shut down the 3DS Online? Why is it doing that? It's April 8th. Every time I save, it's like unformatting this. I don't understand why. I don't get it. I don't understand what its skill is. Makes no sense. Something is severely wrong with my compiler here. Yeah, the bank is gonna hang around, so they say. I just helped a bunch of people at my most recent tournament that I was staffing, which was yesterday, transfer a bunch of guys up, all the way from Gen 4, actually. I had a friend who wanted to get their Coliseum and Gale of Darkness mons up all the way through the generations, so I had to help them out there, because they didn't have a 3DS of their own. And even if you do, if you don't have Bank already installed here, so out of luck. Alright, does this compile? No, it's upset. It's very upset at me. This kicks ass. What a rotten way to start the day. Okay. Oh yeah, and this now becomes array of these. Makes sense. Oh, that's why it was getting mad at me. Okay. That makes sense. I was putting semicolons instead of commas in my function definitions. I don't have Coliseum, sadly, so I haven't been able to get those guys myself, which really stings. berries ready for contest ribbons, and I don't need battle towers anymore with the restricted legendaries except Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Yeah. I don't have too many more guys I need to do ribbon stuff with. I don't think. Effects config can't be found. Why not? Is that not what this is called? Oh, effect configs. Of course. There we go. Yes, you should play through these games as many times as you can. You should absolutely get the matching Lugia before it's too late. I don't know if Lugia is going to be in vogue in the VGC as it is with TCG. I know Ho-Oh might have a neat spot. I'm really surprised they didn't give Ho-Oh Revival Blessing this gen, actually, because it is like the Phoenix Pokemon. I actually really thought it was going to get it, but it didn't. And then I don't know the way Lugia works in the TCG, but I know the Lugia decks are very popular. What's going on? Way Sandwich, hello. Buongiorno. I am doing some programming for an open source library right now. They got a saying in the digital underworld where if it doesn't read rest in peace on your tombstone, you get drafted into the Skeleton War. So thank you very, very much for your voluntary conscription. It means I don't have to draft some poor sucker. It means a lot to me. But yeah, welcome by. I usually stream, if I'm doing like a video game, it's usually some retro PS2 garbage or like Pokemon. But today I am updating an open source library that I have. There we go. Because I gotta. Because I'm about to go on vacation for a hot minute. I'll be away from streaming for almost 2 weeks. And if I don't do it now, people are gonna get on my tail. So I gotta do it now. I'm going to learn C#. It is going to be hell. I think C# is a decent starting language. It's got a lot of guardrails that are really, really handy. The compilers are all typically pretty good unless you're having an off day like I am right now, where it's complaining something like, can't understand your project, etc., etc. So this might not be an amazing learning stream for you, but I will try my best. If you have any questions about the language, I am pretty well versed in it at this point. I do most of my for fun programming in either this or JavaScript, so feel free to ask questions. My compiler is just not cooperating with me today, so I'm kind of flying a little blind, but I am typically good enough at this that I know how to make it work. I'm going to learn through Microsoft's own tutorial series. If you think that's a bad idea, I genuinely think the best way, unless you really have like no precepts about programming at all, and like you were completely lost, the best way to learn a language is just to set your mind on like accomplishing even the smallest possible task, and then just continuing to read Stack Overflow threads about how people achieve it, and then like incrementally kind of pile up stuff that way. You'll get somebody on Stack Overflow who answers in like a very roundabout way, or like does more than you want, but then once you have their answer copied verbatim, you can kind of start hacking away at it and like paring it down until you get to just the part that does the thing you want to do. So like, I don't know. The way I learned C# was just, I did a game jam with Unity here in like 2013 or something. And from there, I like tried the simplest possible thing, like, you know, change the color of text on a screen. And from there, it's like, okay, I learned how to do that. And then you just keep setting your mind on smaller and smaller goals. Not smaller and smaller goals. More and more small goals. Just taking one baby step forward at a time. And eventually you will begin to see the patterns, and you'll begin to like understand how the language wants to behave. I've modified scripts and values, never done much with the language. I can modify some JSONs if I have documentation open. Yeah, I'm doing that today. That's basically where I'm at. My goal today is to take all these JSONs that have been described for the VTube Studio API, VTube Studio being the program that lets me render myself as a funny skeleton man instead of with a face cam. So there's an API for it that lets people build cool tools that can modify the models in fun ways programmatically. And I gotta flip these now into data structures for C# because I'm building a C# library that lets people build Unity apps to do stuff. So that's where we're at right now. My stuff compiles. That's awesome. I've gotten one effect out of the way. So now if I go to my example plugin, I'm going to tell it... It is neat. Yeah. Let's see. We're going to do Print API stats, that's cool. Activate expression, get physics data, sub. Oh, wait, yeah, let me show what I was doing. I have an example plugin thing that I'm messing with here. I'm going to just tell this to print out the response for our get. And yeah, ordinarily IntelliSense is a godsend with this kind of language, but for whatever reason mine has decided that it does not want to observe what I'm doing at all. Effect. Empty. And this is going to be log. What do you recommend somebody learns the ins and outs of Visual Studio VS Code? I wish I could tell you. I actually don't have an amazing answer for that. VS Code is great when it works, but sometimes you will just get problems like this where it says, oh, you know this project you've been operating in for years now? It is in an unsupported format. It needs to be converted to a new SDK style in order to work with C# dev kit. Why? I don't know. And it just will begin to fail in inscrutable ways. I'm told that actual Visual Studio, like the big bulky subscription kind, works a little bit more reliably, and for whatever reason VS Code kind of just is fast and loose. But I'm not sure, I haven't really tried that too much. As always, I kind of just feel like the right answer to learn things is, like for example, I wanted to have all of my brackets on new lines, and so when I save now it formats for me like that, but I didn't know how to do that. I wanted to do that. Search around for it. You dig through a bunch of threads where people explain, oh, there's like all these various things you can do in the settings menu, and then you become familiar with the settings menu after reading a bunch of documents on it, etc, etc, etc. So I think the best way to learn is by just trying to achieve something and seeing how far you can get through other people's answers, and through their answers you can hopefully recognize patterns. That's my best advice for programming pretty much any language. That's how I pick things up anyway. Okay, so we have that. Debug.capital log, because this is C#. Right? Kind of convert from effects config to effects. You're right. It's fine. Okay, so just for the sake of demonstration here, we're going to pull up Unity now, and we're going to tell this button, instead of printing out the API stats, we're going to tell it to print out the post-processing effects, and we're going to get a gigantic, humongous piece of text, I would assume. Okay, we've connected to VTube Studio. Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of it is just looking things up. I think if you try and go into it with like a maybe more science-oriented approach, where you're like, I don't know, studying for a med-exam or something like that, and you think the answer, or you need to like have the answers memorized, you like can read a book and study and have memorized answers, and then you'll take an exam. I don't think that's the right way to learn a lot of engineering things. Maybe it's just I'm more of a tactile kind of learner than like a reading comprehension kind of guy, but I really, really do believe the best goal is to just start with something that seems like trite and like, you know, incredibly small, like again, like printing text on a screen, rendering, something like that. And in doing so, you'll learn how to pass data through functions, you'll learn what function definitions look like, and you'll learn how to do like some kind of basic rendering, and then you'll have that tool in your toolbox for next time you want to do something a little more complex. And you just more or less patch together a working knowledge of like, oh yeah, this is kind of like that one time I had to do this other thing. And you'll begin to become more and more familiar with these things where they become secondhand kind of, or second nature rather. That's my best advice here. Unknown messaging, message type, post-processing, list request. You're so right, because there's one other thing I forgot to do here, and that is go into my big event processor. So we're going to fire up VS Code one more time, and then in the deep deep bowels of my VTS WebSocket, I have a gigantic stack of accepted message types, because this is the thing that defines how messages that we get back should be serialized into like a strongly typed thing. So we know we get back a basic thing that says it's a model clicked event that corresponds to this type, and that's where this gets hammered out here. So we're gonna pop a new guy in here, and we just saw a unknown message type kind of situation here. Neatly handle the errors. Unable to parse. Valid response type, cool. So this is, what did we say this was called? Post-processing list response. Yeah. So we just saw the message on screen that was like, unknown message type, which is what happens if it can't figure out what any of these are. So this is now a VTS post-processing state response. That. Now we can go back to Unity again and try this one more time. Just kidding. Switch statement contains multiple things to the label item in response. Oops! My bad. There we go. There we are. Again, IntelliSense would be really nice here. Okay, so now we're connected. Get state, post-processing list request, unknown message type. Huh? Huh? This is an error coming back from VTube Studio, actually, I believe. Not my own thing. So did I put in the wrong name? Or am I perhaps not on the correct VTube Studio beta? That's entirely possible. Post-processing list request. Hold on one moment. I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that. So, I think the problem was the documents here will be very careful to mention. We scroll up a little bit more. Currently only available on the VTube Studio beta branch, which I thought I was on, because I was on a previous beta, but it's a different beta branch, so I just had to restart VTube Studio really quickly. Now I should be able to go back to my capture groups of web dev. There we go. Yeah, silly mistake. That's where that error was coming from. Because I realized that the text was talking about the request and not the response. So now we can get the state. Lo and behold, it's text. Isn't that beautiful? A lot more than I can really shake a stick at here. But it looks correct. I mean, the fact that we're getting anything back at all seems good. Internal ID, enums are being printed correctly. That's cool. Color defaults. Like, just at a glance, this seems correct. So let's try and, I guess, inspect it a little more carefully. printing it out in something a little easier to digest than on screen. So in our example plugin, we're gonna do that. Okay, so here. Now if I make a like a new scratch file, oops. Can we format this nicely, please? Please? It'd be really cool if we could format this for me. Why does nothing work? So yeah, Way Sandwich, if you're still here, I'd recommend not using VS Code because it just does not do its thing sometimes. JSON, sort document, please. Please. I just want this to be formatted. Oh, message truncated. Okay, because it's too big. That's fair. I guess that's why I can't do it. It's too big even for the logs. Okay. I mean, it looks correct. I don't know. I get frustrated with my tools when they like don't run the command that I want them to do. But this looks at a glance like correct. I guess the message is too big. Yeah, message truncated. Okay, that's fair. So you don't want to get one of these back every frame or anything like that. That seems kind of bad. But the values look good. If I... The enums are mapping correctly, which is cool. Color grading, color filter. So like I could do something like this then, I think. Or I could if I had really good IntelliSense. But I can do effects. Do like r dot. I'm so mad that my IntelliSense isn't working. So the response is going to be r dot data dot post-processing effects. Sorry, not let, for int I equals 0. Yeah, I don't know why it just like doesn't... I don't know. I'm sure I'll look back on the stream or somebody else will jump in on the stream and be like, oh, Tom, it's just like do this other thing. But I don't see what the issue here is. I don't know why. Can I like try and get it to reload? Be converted to a new SDK style to work. How do I get it to do that, though? Let's actually Google this. I'm actually mad enough that I want to figure this out. We're going back to the internet. We're going on Google. Hey, this looks germane. Yeah, no problem. Hey, this happened starting last year. I'm not using Windows 11. Does anybody have an answer? This also shows how long it's been since I've used Unity. Does anybody have an answer? Alright. extensions. Does this page go anywhere? It does. I would love to install this Unity extension for VS Code. I would love nothing more than for my project to have IntelliSense right now. Right now. When did this come out? When? This came... Okay, this was last updated like 3 days ago. Yeah, Visual Studio Code is required. Yes. Do it. This literally didn't exist, I'm pretty sure, last time I used Unity. That's so annoying. But if it works, then that'll be good. Like, the previous Unity tool that I had used has long since been deprecated. That's cool. So yeah, if you're using Unity, I guess don't use Visual Studio Code. If you're using, like, XNA or something, I'm sure VS Code works fine. I'm not really super pleased with Unity. I wouldn't be continuing to develop with it if I weren't already in here. My new projects are pretty much all web-based. They're like JavaScript. And I'd probably try and use like Electron or something if I wanted to make a new C# app from scratch. I took a lot of care to modify this library that I'm currently updating such that it's no longer like tightly coupled to Unity. It used to be very dependent on Unity, and now it's not, which is nice. I've had a couple people build stuff outside of the Unity environment, runtime environment with this now, which is good. Anyway, all this is to say I really want my IntelliSense back because I wanted to try and demonstrate over here a way that we could filter down the response data, and I wanted to try and find, like, all the information about the chromatic aberration effect, which you can filter in the request on here, but I basically wanted to test that my enums were coming back in a way that can be filtered, and it sounds like they probably are, but we'll see when we see. Installing. Yeah, you're really stuck on Unreal, right? Or no, you're in Unity. What am I saying? Why did I think you were Unreal? I've watched your development process a bunch of times. I know you're Unity. You were just talking about Unity shader pipelines earlier. I don't know why I reflexively said, oh yeah, you're in Unreal. That's like patently untrue. Oh, speaking of Unity nonsense, hold on. Did you guys see this? I hope this loads. So you know how normal versions of Unity are, like, if we look at, is there a previous version? Anyway, the joke here is that this is Unity version 6000. Yeah, welcome to Unity 6000. The previous Unity release, if this will load. If this will load, please. They're usually, like, named after the year, which is why this is funny. Yeah, like the Unity 2022 long-term support. So like, okay, that makes sense. It was released at the end of 2022. It's like the go forward for that. 2021, 2024, etc., etc. But then on March 13th, 2024, they seemingly, for no reason, released Unity 6000.0.0 Beta 11. Oh wait, is this on purpose? I thought this was like a mistake. You seem to know more about this than I do. I literally just saw somebody tweeting about this and saw this page go up and I was like, oh, this has to be a mistake. And yeah, you're right. They can never go back to year-based versions now because they'll have a conflict in about 30... no, in like, yeah. In like 3,900 years, they'll hit a conflict. So, you know, when Unity technology gets that far, it can't. It's kind of like, why did they do this? Do you know? If you know anything about this, because I sure don't. Why would they suddenly just call it 6000? Because they used to do Unity like 4, 5, 6, kind of like how Unreal Engine does numbers like that. Then they switched to years, and now they seem to have done neither, and just chosen a random number that sounds cool. Because of tooling. I need you to explain more. That doesn't immediately answer my question. Okay, cool, this is installed. Does this do anything now? Is my IntelliSense back? Do I need to like reload my project? I'm gonna restart VS Code real quick and see if it understands better. Now that I have this Unity plugin. also requires me to tell OBS what my VS Code. There we are. Do I have IntelliSense? The version... What does this mean? The version of Unity's package Visual Studio Editor is too old. Please update to version 2.0.20 or later in Unity's package manager. No, I don't want to. I don't want to do that. I just want to program. I just want to do things. I don't need a package for that. Do I have IntelliSense? Is it back? No, I don't. Moving online. Tools will check for versions greater than 2019. Oh no, I know why you can't go back to year-based. I thought I meant why did they choose 6000? I understand what you're saying. Why you can't go back to year-based? Yes, that totally makes sense to me. Because they picked a thing that could be mistaken as a valid year. That's correct. But I don't understand why they chose this number. Okay, let's go to Package Manager. Where even is Unity's Package Manager? Does Unity 2019, the version that I'm in, even have a Package Manager? Let me fix that. It does, right? But I don't know where. They should just keep using the year. Like, what's the problem? So weird. Export package. For package validator, that's if you upload package manager. There are no packages. I am told that a version that they want me to have here doesn't exist. Oh, code editor. Wait, right? What do they want me to have? No, Visual Studio Editor. I am so confused. What do these do for me? Am I just like not allowed to use Unity 2019 anymore? Is that how they're like effectively doing this? Version of Unity package, Visual Studio Editor. Like I'm not reading this wrong, am I? Got my big ass head in the way. Visual Studio Editor is too old. Please update to version 2.0.20 or later in Unity's package manager. Then we go to Unity's package manager. The newest version that they have here is 2.0.14. It says I'm up to date. What do I do? That would suggest to me that the version of this package that I'm allowed to use is only extant. Okay, so newer versions of this do exist. What happened in... What's going on? I hate this. I hate tools. How frustrating indeed. So if I like look at my browser here, newer versions of this do exist. In fact, they came out somewhat recently, but for whatever reason, it's telling me the latest thing I can install is here. Remove package version checking. Okay. How do I get a newer version? I want to do what it says. It says I'm up to date. 2AI, hello, welcome. Or is it 2I or 2AI? How am I meant to pronounce that? I've seen your name written a bunch of times, but I'm not sure how it's meant to be said. This is pissing me off. Whatever, I'm gonna figure this out off stream. I don't feel like. Oh yeah, for the 6,000 changes, yeah. I just think it's goofy. They should have just picked a number that's not a year. Whatever, it's fine. I'm assuming this works good. I will figure this out. Use the version of VS that Unity 2019 installs. I don't have that, though. I have VS Code. Ah! I just want my text editor to work good. I don't know why this has to require 4,000 pieces of tooling. So there's no other answers. Saying updating to the newest Visual Studio package solves the problem. How do I get this? 2i, gotcha. How do I get the new one? I'm going in circles here. I just said I was going to solve this off stream. Can something please ever be released without any critical issues that block the workflow? That would be nice. Removing the Visual Studio Code Editor package and updating Visual Studio Editor in Unity Package Manager fixed it for me. Okay. I'll try anything at this point. Be gone. Return. If you won't let me update, be gone. I might just be destroying my project here, but it's fine. That's what GitHub is for. Oh, this doesn't even show this window. Okay. I didn't realize. There's like a window here that I was trying to show. When I was complaining, it says whatever version you have is like the highest. Add package from Git URL. That'd be nice. Disk, tarball. No, we're good actually. I don't need any of that. I've decided. I should have a ability to regenerate something. Maybe? Ah, okay. Now we get to it. I'm continuing to read. Make sure you are using Unity 2021 or above. I'm not doing that. In Unity, go to Window, Package Manager, uninstall Visual Studio Code Editor package, install or update the Visual Studio Editor, delete all CS project and solution files, and then go to Edit Preferences, External Tools, Regenerate Project Files. Okay. I'm not using that version of Unity, though. Edit Preferences. VS Code. This guy gets it. I already did everything said here and nothing works. So the problem I'm facing right here is I'm trying to maintain compatibility with Unity version 2019 and later, and they seem to have magically decided to break my, what I thought was indestructible, industry standard IDE of VS Code here for anything earlier than 2021. I don't know why they would decide to do this. I don't know what the point of having previous versions are if you are going to just break them like that. But there doesn't seem to be an obvious answer here. Until I added just under. Oh, they're correct though. I do have to target a certain standard. So where is my CS project file? Here. Let's see. So they're suggesting another approach here is adding a target framework under a target framework version of this thing. So let's find. Oh, hey Jay. Hi, I'm like elbows deep right now in programming. This is not Pokemon content that you're here for, but nice to see you. I hope you're Ironmon? Nuzlocke? I don't remember. Maybe it's both at the same time. I don't remember what kind of antics you're up to today. But nice to see you. I will give you the shout out. Shout out. TGH. Green hat C. I can type. No, that's shout, not shout out. There we go. There's my guy. No, it's not going great here right now. My tools have just decided to stop cooperating. Reference assemblies for network frame. Love this. Install developer pack. Sure. I'm trying to update something in Unity right now, and it's been, I think, probably about half a year since I've had to use Unity. And it's just not. They've broken my tools since I've been away, in a way that I'm not happy about. Nothing more to say about it than that. Developer pack. I don't know why suddenly this would be the case, but it is what it is. Anyway, at a larger scope right here, what I'm trying to do is I am updating a library that I maintain that lets people build plugins for VTube Studio, which is the funny application I get to use to pretend to be a skeleton online. And the current update lets you do all sorts of post-processing effects, like I will demonstrate momentarily. I forget which menu that is. I don't know if Jay has shown you these, but howdy. Yeah. So you get to do cool effects like, let's check out our analog distortion, our good old standby analog glitch. So you can now do post-processing effects on your model like something like this, where you gradually phase out of existence, perhaps add some color drift for good measure. Do you like dependency management hell? You've come to the right stream. Yeah. So true, so true, so true. Yeah, so you can do all sorts of cool effects like this in the latest VTube Studio update. But right now, they're all done manually. Like, you can't see it because it's not rendered through OBS. But I'm adjusting sliders by hand right now to do this to myself. And so the current update that Denshi just put out for VTube Studio lets you control all of these various values for these effects by code, making a plugin that can drive them based on, say, your microphone volume. Or the plugin that I build is one that lets you connect heart rate monitors to VTube Studio. So I wanted to have somebody be able to distort themselves like that as they get more and more stressed out. Things like that, you know? But I'm currently just elbow deep in dependency management hell, which is not great for me. Only major thing I can think of last year that was them deprecating the Visual Studio Code package and merging that in the main Visual Studio package. Yes, we're learning about that right now. We were reading about this. So if I turn off this again, we go back to here. I was reading what the answers people suggested are, and they're like, oh, delete the Visual Studio Code. Yeah, it's right here. Uninstall the Visual Studio Code Editor package, install and update the Visual Studio Editor plain package, version 2.0.20. But then what we found out is that 2.0.20 is only available on Unity version 2021 or later, and I'm stuck in the Stone Age of Unity 2019, which is no fun at all. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. So right now I am in Unity, trying to update a library that I use to make plugins in Unity or any C# runtime. Kind of a pain in the ass, but what can you do? Not my usual fare. Catch me Tuesdays, many Tuesdays, if you like Pokemon stuff. I just finished a Ribbon Master quest where I got every ribbon since Gen 3 on a single guy, a specific Torkoal that I've been using for VGC, which was fun. That took me a bunch of months to do. And now I gotta figure out what my next big quest is. 'Cause so far I've kind of been just doing laddering stuff, which is very generic, very vanilla. I gotta figure out a cool new Pokemon adventure. I'm not gonna spend too much more time on this dependency management stuff. I think I know enough about C# that I can brute force this without IntelliSense. We'll get here when we get here, it's fine. I think. I think we'll be okay. I will continue to steer the ship blind. I don't need IntelliSense. Okay, so the next thing I need to do, though, is, as per the documentation, we have some other functions we can invoke. So I was getting a list of all of the effects, and we saw that that seems to be working. So now we can set post-processing effects. Cool, cool, cool. Using the post-processing update request, you can control the post-processing system. You can turn off, unload presets, and even control individual config items directly and in detail. Very good. We love that for us. So what does our example look like here? Post-processing update request is going to look like this. And they're all going to be strings. Okay. That's cool. That's fine. I don't think there's a way that I can streamline that any better. I found I wanted to use 2.0.17 of Visual Studio Editor plugin if I still wanted to use old Visual Studio Code plugins. The last one it lets me get up to is 2.0.14. So, you know, we're really in it, is what I'm saying. So the next step here is to update my interface here with another method. And I gotta make these into tasks later also. A lot of the cleanup stuff I'll have to do, but I will do that off stream because it's not particularly engaging content. Void. Set post-processing values, or maybe configs, I'm not sure. I don't know what this is going to accept as valid values yet. Then we go to our models. Here. Processing effect, cool. Class. VTS. Something like this. We're gonna have everything follows a pattern. Such. This is all making in the comments. Yeah, exactly. Comma. That's exactly how I feel. This is a post-processing request update. That's the name of this function, or this request. Such. And then we have all these fun fields in our data. Public. Post-processing. Set width. 3 sets, 2 set. Oh yeah, Jay, I didn't ask. So your Ironmon thing, and my loose understanding of Ironmon is that you basically are given one Pokemon that you have to soldier through the entire game with. Did you say that you were still doing Ironmon? Is that correct? Yeah, you're doing Ironmon, yeah. So who's your current guy? I know the last one you tried to do stuff with was Rotom Ice, but I don't know who the current one is. Are they better than Rotom Ice? I would hope so, because that seems patently unfun. I also don't know with Ironmon how the game is altered to make that like at all doable, or is it really just vanilla like Rotom Ice? Because that sounds really difficult, which I guess is the point, but Control B there. Wrong, not B. And we finally have post-processing values, which are these little snippets. So that's going to be public objects for now. Like such, and then we're going to make another class that's going to be public class. Namespace effect configs could not be found. What are you talking about? It's right here. I literally refer to it elsewhere. Do I not? Hold on, I think I need to restart VS Code again. Oh, wow, okay. It's like confused now. I've really borked things up. You have not opened a folder yet. It doesn't know anything. It is like a baby. Okay. That's considerably worse than where we were, I think. Like if I... Yeah, it's just super confused now. That's really bad. Open a folder containing a .NET project. Don't mind if I do. That should be this one. So it's telling me to install the reference assemblies for this .NET version. I'm trying to do that, but it is downloading at beyond a snail's pace, like even slower. So I can't really do that any quicker. I think that will solve my problem though, based on what people were saying. But we're back on the board. That's fine. It's not saying that we're not in any kind of project at all anymore. This is weird though. Effect configs. I'm looking at it right here. Effect configs. We're in the same namespace. I don't know what it's complaining about. We aren't using that. I'm pretty sure at least. Awful day for programming when the tools just don't work. Is Unity going to complain about something? No, it says this compiles, which is nice. I'm glad Unity can still compile this somehow. Even if, like, I can't for some reason. So confusing. Response for this object, I bet, looks different as well. Response is nice and squeaky clean though. That's cool. So let's go make that as well, even though our compiler is screaming at us and says that we're telling it lots of lies. Soldier on. Class. What did we call the first one? This is post-processing update data, update. Now this becomes such. Lurking, yeah. That's fair. I mean, that's what these are for, right? I'm not expecting outstanding viewer engagement as I, like, write text on a text pad, notepad, right? Like, that's fine. I just need to get this done, and I like to stream it because sometimes you'll get people who swing by, like earlier, who are saying, oh, I'm trying to learn C#. Do you have any advice? And I can offer what pithy advice that I have, you know? My decades of wisdom on this. It's not amazing, but it is at least my own lived experience. Also, I just gotta jump at any opportunity to do a programming stream, because I think that is my kind of roots, and I have strayed from that becoming a game streamer somehow. So very mainstream. Everything's screaming at us. This is so cool. Whole world's on fire. Can't find anything. Okay, so we've added that to our processor here, and we can make a function. It's gonna take on success and on failure. We're gonna get back a response. But there are so many properties in the request that I'm almost wondering what the best way to have somebody fill this in would be. I gotta look back on how I've handled other things that have this many parameters, because there's quite a lot. Usually I try and construct the request object internally into the function, so you just say like, yeah, I want to do this, that, and the other thing, and it will make the request object so you don't know what the like boundary level object is. But sometimes they're just really unwieldy. These are all advanced subscriptions. I made options classes. Okay, show me where this is. Why can't it find those? That's weird. Okay, I guess this is the pattern I'm going to follow. Because it's what I did elsewhere. VTS. Public class, VTS. Processing update options, all of these guys. And now, right now, they're basically the same functionally, like these two data structures, but the reason I'm separating them out like this is so that if the API changes, it doesn't necessarily break the like people who build stuff on top of it. Then you'd still have one layer of go-between where you can translate between the way things are written now and what the modern API wants. So I think that's the right way to do things. It's the concept of a domain model, which is what's internal to your code, and a boundary model, which is data definitions that go between pieces of code, or between services. That. Complaining about. I'm super confused. I've strayed so far from God's light right now, I have no idea what this is complaining about. I'm very sure that I have this right. It thinks it's missing a set of parentheses. Okay, we've got a constructor. Am I missing the end parentheses for this? Oh, it's just because these are... Duh, okay. complaining because it looks like I'm trying to define new lines here. There we go, now it's happy. Much better. Meanwhile, I have downloaded, shockingly from Microsoft CDN, I have managed to download 40 megabytes of the 80 megabyte dev pack installer, which I think is my ticket out of this nightmare. Okay, that looks good and correct to me. What is this complaining about? I don't like that. Expected an extra. Why? Oh, okay, that's the wrong class name. Is that better? No. We're so messed up. Unity complaining. Look at this compiler. Yes, okay. I'm somehow missing a bracket, and IntelliSense is not helping me at all here. I am really, really in hell right now. This is deeply unpleasant. What does it think I am missing? I seem to be able to collapse all of these, no problem. Oh, this one's missing. Okay. Ah. I think that's... There we go. There we go. Ugh, that's fun. So then in the VTS plugin class, we can make our... The miserable thing is we're actually kind of almost done here, without like having a functioning IDE at all. We've been able to soldier through it in a way that I'm not happy about, but... Or at the very least, we're close enough. Oh, Coco's in like a powerful sunbeam right now. I'm looking at my tortoise and the tortoise cam over there. She is receiving the sun, which kicks ass. In our core plugin. Okay, so now it's like pretending like it understands what I'm trying to do here. It's so on and off, I don't understand. Before it was giving me no IntelliSense, now this class seems to have IntelliSense. I don't get it. I don't know what it wants to do. I'm gonna copy this. Okay. We can pass in our options object. Where did we go? Good Lord. Right here. And we finally have to send it over socket. Go. Cool, and then in the Unity implementation of this, we just do a pass-through, as we have been doing. So that looks like this. Let's do this plugin. Cool, that should compile, I think. Moment of truth. Unity does not have an issue with it. My IDE might, but Unity does not. Unity lets me compile that just fine. So let's do a quick example, shall we? Let's put this to the test. I'm going to make a function in my example plugin here that will let me crank that chromatic aberration. So we're going to do public void, or not chromatic aberration, let's do the analog glitch that I was showing off before. We're going to take in a float f, and we're going to say VTS post-processing update options, opt, boom, opt dot. Oh, there's one other thing I needed to do. This is making it readily apparent. So in the function that I was just looking at here, we have the options. We also need to do post-processing value array values like that. Kind of important. It's the thing that actually sets all of the values on the post-processing effects that we're trying to modify here. So we have all these top-level options. We actually also still need to do request data. Did I like forget to include that in the actual quest model? Post-processing values. That's what they should be called. Values like such. Kind of an important one. Let me update this also. Just pass that along. Values. Beauty of interfaces. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Now in our example plugin here, we can do ops dot processing value is true. We can do that, and then value dot big ID equals, and so it can't find the new enum that I put in for whatever reason because it's, or no wait, I'm forgetting how these work. Too many different languages. Effect. Things. Okay, still can't find it. That's cool. It's fine. Unity knows what to do. My analog glitch. That's what it's called. 5. Cool. Oh, oops. I wish I could program it like that. I want to know if there's a way I can make this accept any kind of... Oh wait, there is. Hold on. That's the power of constructors, baby. Public. Big ID equals big ID, and then this dot big value equals value string. And you can do the same thing for bool and int. You don't need to two-string it if it's already a string. You can do it like that. And now back in our example plugin, it makes way more sense because we can just do this. Strength 0.5. And it will just know what to do. Perfect. That works out good. And then we need to do... I forget how you define inline. I never remember how to define inline arrays in C#. We're going to find out together. No. Oh, okay, it's like this. Value like such. I think that works. And then we can finally do what do we even call this stupid function? Set post-processing effect values, yes. Like that. I think we'll be good. And so now what I've got here is I've got a function that takes in a float. We set our strength of our analog distortion to that float, not 0.5. We'll do f, like such. Now if I go into Unity, and have Unity on, I can add a slider into my scene here. So we're going to do game objects, UI, slider, just wherever it wants to chill. Let's put it on the left side, why not? Cool. Add a spacer. Why not? And so what this slider is going to do is it's going to connect to... Interesting. Going to connect to our plugin. Got my giant head in the way example plugin. Adjust analog glitch, like such. And check this out. Nothing happens. That's awesome. Why? So I have VFX off. Okay. So the analog glitch is on. Oh, okay, hold on. No, we're good. Check this out. I have to add another effect, though. Just changing the strength alone is not enough to... That just decides if the thing is on, but I had all the other parameters also set to 0, right? So we're going to hop back into code for one more second. We're going to make another post-processing effect value here. Effect configs. Oh, off Unity. There we go. So if we look at our possible other distortion effects, the one that I liked was scanline jitter. That's the one I was using for most of my stuff. So let's also drive that by the same slider. Value 2. Value 2, like such. Pass these into an array. So what we're doing here is we've defined our structures for how to convey post-processing values. We made a constructor so you can pass in a number and we'll get turned into a string on the internals, which is what it needs to do. So we're saying we're going to set the strength to whatever the slider is, and also the scanline jitter to whatever the slider is. The slider goes between 0 and 1. We then update these. We set the post-processing effect values using the options that we've set here where we're trying to do that. And then we are all good to go here, back in Unity. Now we should actually get some effects cooking. So check this out. I'm a liar. Oh, it's because I have a pop-up up. Like the text says, if you can read it, I've got a existing window open in VTube Studio, which prevents it from doing cool stuff. Okay. Hello, I'm waiting to be distorted. What's going on here? There we go. Kind of? Huh? What was going on? A conundrum. I thought we had it there for a second. Oh! Okay, hold on. So, there's one other option we need to make sure we're setting here. That I was overlooking. Opt. Dot. Post-processing is on. We want that to be true. I might make that the default value for this because I think that's kind of a very common use case here. The default value for booleans is false, represented as a 0, right? So without specifying that, it was initializing to 0, which was continually turning my post-processing off, even though the request was being accepted. Okay, now, check this out. There we go. That's what the whole morning was all about right now. So that's just me controlling one effect, basically, with one slider. But imagine you don't have to have a slider to do it. Imagine that, say, your microphone is controlling the amplitude of your waveforms coming out of your mouth, or controlling how much you jitter or something like that. Or anything, right? Again, the use case that I had very clearly in my mind for something like this was driving this based on a user's heart rate. So the more stressed out they get, the more the slider would fill out. And you'd have some reasonable capping value less than this, but you could set some kind of nice preset where they gradually become more and more untethered. But yeah, that seems to be working, which is good. And I'm still trying to download this stupid Visual Studio update. It sure does seem to be working, right? Yeah, exactly. That's what all of this was for. I was able to soldier through my IDE not understanding anything and not having any, smart correction or guardrails for me, but there we go. We get our updates as we'd expect. So that, I think, behaves kind of exactly how I want. There is one other function to implement, I think, and then I will call it for stream. We'll see if I finish before this 80 megabyte file downloads. And then I'll try and install it on stream, I suppose. There is one other VTube Studio function. And this is event handling, which is really squirrely to do without IntelliSense. It should be... Where is it? Okay, so those are the only two functions for request calls, but he added a... What is it? Event, also. These things. So these are... All the things I showed right now are requests that you send to VTube Studio to tell it to do something, and it will write back. This is something that VTube Studio knows to send to you without any being prompted, which is very useful if you need continuous updates. You can do stuff like, tell me the position of where this specific, piece of your model is. So I could do, finger tracking, and VTube Studio will continually send me the position of that finger if I tell it to. Things like that. So he added a new function in here, or a new event in here, all the way at the bottom, post-processing event. An event is triggered every time the post-processing system is turned on or off or a preset is loaded or unloaded. For more information about post-processing, check the visual effects page. If after receiving this event you want to read detailed post-processing state including all configs and their values, use the post-processing list request, and if you want to send post-processing values, use the other things we just implemented. So this seems really easy to do. Current on state and the current preset. Cool. We have to make a couple more models for that, and those go elsewhere. So let's close this up. I think I'm actually gonna finish today's stream with no guardrails, no IntelliSense. I'm literally might as well just be using Notepad for what I'm doing here, because it's giving me no help at all. Now into our event API. This might be a little more dubious. We use a lot of generics and such here, which gets squirrely to keep track of otherwise. We've clicked event data, ArtMesh. It's okay. So let's take an example here. VTS. Post-processing event data. Seems like there's very little. It's a very lightweight event, which is nice. Data has just two fields, it looked like, which is a relief. We had, what do they call it? Current on state. And the other one was currently loaded preset. I'm assuming he'll add more stuff to this eventually, but for now it's just these two. And the actual event is called post-processing event. There we are. So that's easy. We need to make a config. No, we don't, because there's no config for this. And I think in cases where there's no actual configuration parameters, I don't make a config class. Oh, no, I do. Okay. That's fine. That's how it should be. How it should be. Even if there's nothing in there now, there might be later, so it's important to build the infrastructure such that you don't have to renovate your code too much if the API changes. We got that. And we have a not model moved event, but it's post-processing event. Cool, easy, and then in our interface, we're going to need to make some more functions. I'm going to leave it to do here to add docs. The async versions of these. So then we have two functions we need to add, a subscribe and unsubscribe from various events. We'll start with subscribe. I think these are again in alphabetical order, which is annoying, but subscribe to background changed event. I'll figure out how to sort these again later. Model outline event, test event, tracking event. Item event, model clicked event. I just want to put this at the end here. Okay. So we have our function. And so the way these functions work is you basically register a listener with your onEvent function. And every time VTube Studio sends you an event, it will trigger that function. Got that guy. Processing event. I'm still waiting for Microsoft to finish downloading the 80 megabyte .NET Core or whatever. Unbelievable. I don't know what their CDN is doing, but I might as well be getting it by carrier pigeon, I feel like. Cool, so we have that. Subscribe to post-processing event. Okay, so that's all set there. Task, that's important to do. I need to do the unsubscribe as well. It should just be at the very end. Unsubscribes from the post-processing event. Okay, so now what do I do? In my event processor here, I need to add the post-processing event as a valid thing to get back. Otherwise, it won't know that that's an actual event you can receive. Cool, that's good. This guy's gonna be complaining now. Okay, so all of our event subscriptions have all these like crazy generics, and I don't know if I'm brave enough to try that with no guardrails, but I guess I kind of have to. Maybe it won't be so bad. Subscribe to post. And the reason I have multiple implementations of this, like, I have one which is callback based, which is how I designed this originally, and then a very, very helpful individual later came along and modernized it with what's called an asynchronous task, which is a different way of implementing a similar process. But that's kind of the more modern approach. And as we can tell from how I've been griping about all of my code missing and stuff, or my old versions of VS Code and Unity and such, I'm not up to modern standards too much. Extends event data, that's good. Oh, my .NET thing finished downloading, awesome. What happens if I install this right now on stream? Can I finally get IntelliSense for the last tiny little bit here? Setup successful. Okay. I love to hear it. I'm not sure why this is complaining, but we'll figure that out shortly. Comment this out for now. Let's close VS Code again. And we're gonna open it back up and we're gonna see what happens. One projects are loaded and 0 failed to load. Hold on, gang. We've won. We just beat Big Obsolescence at their own game. Hold on. Listening to what the people in the good website GitHub Issues have said, I've succeeded now at the very end of my stream. Right here, 1 projects are loaded, 0 failed to load. We're so back. Okay, cool. So now, like, I shouldn't have compiler issues anywhere because I'm actually compiling. Oh my god. Thank goodness. So the solution here was I needed to go into my project solutions folder, or my project class here rather, and specify that I'm targeting .NET Standard. After I did that, it was complaining that I didn't have this specific version of .NET downloaded, and that took, I think, close to 30 minutes to do just now. But we have those now, so we're good. We're happy. Why is this complaining now? This is saying type event model click subscription. Oh, that's why. This needs to be subscription. I don't think I have a class called that yet. So we'll get back to that when we get to that. Oh, I actually need both of these. Okay. Cool, I'm so happy to be functional again. That's good. I wish I had this earlier. Would have made this a lot easier. Clicked event config, clicked event subscription. There we go. The heart of the problem is the dumb resolution, yeah. Basically, I just needed to get things back in alignment, but the fact that they can be changed outside from under you, like out from under you rather, is really, really annoying. I hate automatic updates for things like that. Post processing. So we go back here, we have one of these. All the event stuff is pretty much just following the same framework and updating the names. Post-processing. Processing events. Processing events data. Honestly, I probably could have just selected this whole area and done find and replace. Model config or model clicked in post processing. I might have actually been smarter. Post processing. Post processing. Nice. So we have our post-processing event stack here, and then in our Unity thing, we're going to need to implement these as well. How is this shit organized? I actually don't know. Actually, I can do. Go. Knew that was a better idea. And then later at the very end of our asynchronous stuff here, what do you mean? No results? I'm looking at it. Do I not have an unsubscribe from post-processing event? Is that not this? There's no argument given that corresponds to the required oh, right. Okay. Because I didn't define them here also. Yeah, adding the async stuff I'll do, I think, off. Well, I guess I might as well finish it up now. Now that I've got a working IDE, this is a little bit easier. Guess I can do such. That's good. Now it's happy about that. Just gotta scroll up to where we have our subscribes. Cool, that's good. Then the last thing I should do is I should actually implement the asyncs for these guys, which is a little bit more involved. And I need to add documentation. So let's see, we're going to do get post-processing effects state list. We have all of these parameters. I think the part I hate most about doing all this is organizing these function names, because I always feel like they should be like alphabetized or organized in some meaningful way, but I never know the correct way to do it. That. Huh? Why didn't that? There we go. I forget how I format these things. Consistency I find is very, very important with stuff like this, so I think having my docs consistent with like booleans and things like that is important. Like, do I pose this as a question? Booleans are often named as a question. Okay, it looks like I say a flag which can be set to true. like that. Presets, and then I gotta actually fill in the content of this. Which looks like this. Oh, Coco's on the move. Just digging now. And that seems correct. Okay, and then same thing for this guy. Oops. Let's see, this is going to be a post-processing update. Oh wait, also there's 2 additional parameters I didn't include that I need to make sure I put on there as well. There we go. These guys. Cool. This. Updates the updates the state and or values. Array of post-processing effects. Updates that parameters. Cool. Makes sense. Okay, that's good. More or less copy this for the task version of this. Simply cut out the callbacks That's handled by being synchronous. And now I should only have a couple complaints in a few places. What's the complaint here? What's wrong? This definitely compiles, right? What are the errors? Are there errors? It's complaining that there are 6 problems. I think it's wrong. Oh, it's still complaining that it can't find effects config. Can I tell this to just try again? Because it's wrong, like it is objectively wrong. Or effect configs, rather, it can't find. But it's right here. Public enum effect configs in class name effect configs. I don't know what its deal is, but it's here. Oh, somebody was asking earlier. There are 258 different configuration values that you can set. Quite a lot. Anyway, I'm going to choose to ignore this because it's just wrong. This does exist. I don't know why I can't find it still, but that's not for me to worry about right now. What's the command for... There's a hotkey for this where it like will automatically implement the methods or something like that. If it says there's a problem. Because like I understand that, so we can do... I thought it was like Control-Shift dot. I guess it's not. That does something else. Please just implement these for me. I don't know why it's not. Okay, that's what I thought. Control dot. There we go. Put these guys way at the bottom, but we know where they belong. What doesn't it like about this? I thought that's how these get structured. Oh. That is how this gets structured. Cool. And this one is going to be... same thing. So what these are wrappers for the functions we already wrote, but they asyncify them, which lets you run them as a blocking process. Kind of not actually asynchronous. I don't know why they're called that off the top of my head. This is going to be set post-processing effects. Cool. Post-processing, update, response. Cool. We like that. That's good. Return. Oh, these don't even need to be async. These can just be tasks. This plugin. And I think that's it. I think with that, we are all set. I'm not sure what are the remaining complaints that this thing has. Expected semicolon. Oops. Cool, okay. So the only place it's complaining still is here. I don't know why it can't seem to find this. Unity doesn't have any such issues. This definitely compiles. Cool. We love that for me. I can distort myself at will, which is the whole goal here, which I think makes this done for now. Those are the 3 things I need to add. I had to fight my computer the entire way through. Thank you for sticking around with it. I appreciate it. I was getting ornery and I wasn't being super verbal trying to solve this, but I appreciate folks sticking by with my my core competency here of programming. So that's going to do it for me. I will now go find someone to raid, I suppose, and get on with my life and get on with my day. But this will be available as a beta release if anybody's really itching to make a plugin right away. So let's see, who's up to raid? Who's good? I'm gonna send you guys to, I think, oh, she's still asleep. Nope, I'm gonna send you guys to Henamimi. Raid. She's currently playing Final Fantasy X. She's been doing this for 2 days now. This is the 3rd day. It is her birthday. She is turning 30, or has turned 30 on the Ides of March. So go be nice to her. She's a big, big fan of this game, friend of mine, wonderful woman, great artist. She'll introduce herself as soon as the raid happens. You get the picture. I think many of you probably know her as well. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I will be out of this world for the next couple of weeks. I might be able to return to streaming the very, very last couple days of March, but I am going on a adventure, so I will not be around for this coming Tuesday to do more Pokemon laddering, and I won't be around for the following Tuesday to do Pokemon laddering. God willing, I will actually be staffing the Vancouver Pokemon Regional coming up, so that's this coming weekend. Obviously, if we're ending this weekend, so the next weekend, that event is happening in Vancouver, Canada. I am currently enrolled to staff that event, and I'm really looking forward to it as a Pokemon professor. It should be a lot of fun, but that's what's going on for me and why I won't be around to stream for a bit. But it is what it is. I will come back renewed, reinvigorated, looking for more Pokemon stuff to do. I think April is going to be diving games for me, but it might also be Ape Escape games. I'll definitely mix it up a little bit. Anyway, buongiorno, have a good day, and catch you all around.
Skeletom, hello! Welcome, Raiders. Hello, hello. How you doing? How's it going? What are you up to, my friend? Welcome, everybody. If you don't know me, my name is Mimi. I am a freelance artist. I like drawing sexy women. I like playing action and horror games. And today, I'm continuing the 3rd day of my marathon. I have been live for over 48 hours, but I just restarted my stream so the bot saves. And it was my birthday Friday, and I'm doing a marathon this week, and it's my 3-year streaming anniversary. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're adding support for post-processing with Lex to your VTube Studio library. Oh, hell yeah. I hope it went well. We are doing a little bit of grinding on the bridge while I wake up. I just woke up around a little bit before noon. So I'm waking up. Oh, welcome, welcome. It is me. Haha, yay. Hi, Rusty. How you doing? You're back at it again. Wait, we already... Oh, wait a second. Actually, to use this sphere. No. There's no reason to do that. So basically... Here, let me just show you guys basically what needs to go on. So right now, this is where I'm at with Rena. Yuna's going to need to go like all the way over here. This is where she gets Flex and Spell. We need to get her over here. And then Holy... Where's Holy at? Holy is not till over here. So I need to go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm not doing this all here, but I do need to get myself at least I think over here. How does the system work? So the sphere grid system basically works. You start out in the beginning of the sphere grid, like usually over here, they'll start you at like a different place for each character like this. So each character has their own portion of the grid. The entire grid is connected. So like, you know, using you can break into other parts of the sphere grid with different characters, even though they're like locks and you can use specific items to unlock them. But you have different like power spheres, and they're usually like strength, health, etc. And mana spheres, you know, for the magic stuff, CP, so you have to collect these specifically in order to use them in the grid and then use certain stats. Like that was an invasion one, and I used mana spheres for it. Then they got speed abilities, and there's some other stuff you can do too. But I like the system. I used to be really good at it, and I can make all of my characters really scary strong. That's part of what's fun about it, is you can make your characters pretty cracked because of the game system. And it's really fun to make them completely broken. Oh sweet, we got mental break. Vodka. If anything, PoE took from this, that's what you're saying. PoE. First item. The Advanced International Sphere Grid. I do want to try that, even though I ended up playing this one. Do I need a Lux? I do. No, not. gotta do the crazy, like, post-game balance. I can't use this. That sucks. Wait! Oh no, I did this. Okay, we're fine. I think my first playthrough is trying to count some of the other characters here, so that could fuck you over, because you do need certain skills. The most important thing, legitimately the most important thing you need is getting holding on to them. You're back, welcome back. You made a burger, right? Or got a burger? Yeah, chicken tenders, badass. I'm gonna get a Trader Joe's Basil beef dinner made for me. I'm looking forward to that and however long it takes me to do that. You have to redo your entire sphere to get optimal spheres to put you on the super awesome the international version. That sounds awesome. You love this game, I've played it forever though. Same here. I used to replay it yearly growing up. Haven't probably replayed it in a decade. I'm having a fucking awesome time though. Also, if my audio, if I sound a little quiet, let me know. I'm trying not to raise my voice too much and strain my vocal cords. I gotta like play a little faster too, I think. Just let me know if I'm talking too quietly. Would it be fun to have this be your anniversary? That's what it is, basically. I'm having a great ass time. I don't know if I'm gonna play it every anniversary or anything like I did growing up, but this has been a really good time. I've always wanted to do this stream, basically. But I only wanted to do it if I could do a marathon. Hold on, I'm gonna do it. Oh, that's funny every time, man. I fucking love Shooting Star. The best thing is using Shooting Star on one of the giant ass worms in the desert. That's fucking awesome every time. I feel like I want to do my inputs a little faster. You find the volleyball so funny. It is. His arm has to be the strongest shit in the world. Like, if this man punches you, I think it would kill you for real, because his throwing arm is that strong. As you can see why this is a good grinding spot, it's right here. You can heal every turn, and you get a ton of EXP from all these enemies. It's crazy. Gee, walk away, is your right arm so much stronger. Happy birthday, meaniness. Thank you, T.I. Thank you. My age is in demand. I am weakly. I just want to pop up ladder. He loves some of the insane grinding strats in this game. Typically, I would spend hours here. I don't want to spend hours, but we're gonna need to grind anyway, so I think there needs to be some amount of grinding done. This is the best place to do it, because I fucking need holy. I need holy! I mean, you can do Unalaska without holy, but you can really fuck yourself over if you're not careful. And sometimes you can grind in Xanarkin. I usually do a little bit of grinding in Xanarkin. But this is kind of the ideal place to do it because of the save sphere that's just literally right here. Walker plus Twitter X, who knows? You know, it's really just Unalaska. It is because she gets the zombie status effect and stuff. I think it's a cool fight. I think it's really fitting thematically as a fight. God, if you are not prepared for that, you will get decimated. How do you feel about JRPGs that try to minimize the grind? I find the most fun, if I'm being honest. Like, yeah, you can go through, you can learn the story. But I think part of the fun with JRPG games like this is that you're inhabiting the world for so long. And I feel like, at least in my case, I get a little more attached to the world when I sit there and grind it a lot. But it's like, I enjoy Shin Megami Tensei games, and half the time those are just grinding. And I enjoy it. autism grinding is fun, thank you. The battle system has to be some amount of fun, yeah. Trouble should exist. You should be afraid. You should actively be afraid. That's what's so good about it.